Welcome back to Project Addiction. I've been driving through a whole lot of water lately, reasonably deep water. Normally that wouldn't be a problem, but I've been putting off some pretty important maintenance. My CV boots. Yeah, it's not supposed to look like that. I've been procrastinating and I just haven't done the job, but with the flooding that we've been having, I haven't had much choice. I've had to drive through the water, and that means any and all grease that used to be in that shaft, and actually this one too, is probably gone. Unfortunately, I couldn't get any factory CV boots for these, at least not quickly enough, so I picked up some universal ones, and universal means it should fit universally, right? I guess we're about to find out, so stick around. Got the CV out, and now I've got to figure out how to actually get the ends off of it. I don't know if it's a bolt-on style or if it's just pressed on with a clip. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of information out there, so I'm just gonna have to try this. Got a brass drift hammer, and we're just gonna try and remove it that way. Hopefully that is how they are installed. We don't break anything. So that's the retaining clip there, and our outer CV joint, and you can see it's just full of dirt. So we're gonna take this thing apart, get it all cleaned up, get the other side off, and we'll replace those boots. Hopefully. There's a snap ring that sits right inside here. Take that snap ring out, the whole cup comes off. Bearings in the cage are gonna come out too. Take note of what direction they come out because they are directional. Then you just need a pair of snap ring pliers. There's one snap ring right on the end of the CV. Watch that it doesn't fly away. And then you can take off the rest of the CV. Looks like this boot was actually replaced at some point before already. That's a split boot. The boots we're gonna try to put on are solid one piece. So we got that whole thing apart and cleaned up. The only kind of weird part was this piece of the outer CV. To get it out of the actual housing, you need to rotate it, remove all the balls, but then this piece is kind of locked in here. If you take a look, that is different than that. You gotta find the one that's sort of squared off, rotate the inner piece 90 degrees, and then you can slip it through and out. Opposite to put it back in. Slip it through the square one, and then rotate it back into place. So this is the boot that we're replacing, and as you can see, it's a split boot. You can tell because it's split. Idea with these things is for those that don't want to take off the CV shaft or can't take off the CV shaft to fully rebuild it. You just cut off the old boot, take this guy, clamp it over top like that, glue the seam, and you're done. Problem with them is they don't last. So I did a bit of searching and I found these. Now these boots are solid just like your factory original boot, and they're made by Dorman. And you can see they've got 1, 2, 3 different steps on them, and that's to accommodate the different sizes or potential different sizes of CV shaft joint. All we need to do is find the one that's closest, stretch it on over top, and then cut off the extra. So if you are planning to use these things, part number 614001 and 614002. That's an inner and an outer, and they do come with the grease too, so that's kind of nice. So hopefully this will work out for us. We're gonna give it a go. So if you take a look, you'll notice on the inside here, I've replaced the metal banding with zip ties. And that's because the metal bands have clip here, and that clip is too large for the diameter of the shaft itself. And what was happening is it was allowing air to leak in and out whenever the shaft moved. And that means that if you're in water, if it tries to draw air in, it'll try and draw water in. And that's the last thing you want in your freshly rebuilt CV, is to fill it with water. So I've replaced it with zip ties, and that seems to hold a lot better. There's no air leaking this way. It's not quite as pretty as the metal, but zip ties will hold. If you can find a band that maybe has a smaller clip on it, you'd be able to get away using them here, but the ones that come with the kit unfortunately don't work. Got the CV back in on this side. All that's left is to put the wheel back on and move on to the other side and get it finished. The only thing I would do differently would be I would use 2 of the outer CV boots instead of an outer and an inner. The inner dormant boot is a little bit more pliable, it's softer, and it doesn't seal very well against the tiny little CV shaft of the mini cab. Whereas the outer one, it's a little bit harder material and it's sealed very nicely. So if you're doing this on your truck, I'd recommend just pick up 4 of the outer CV boots, and I think you'll have a better chance at getting them to seal properly on the shaft. So I'm gonna throw the wheel back on this, get done the other side, and that'll be it for the CVs, and we'll move on to the next project on this, which is either going to be building a lift kit for the back, installing a tack, installing lights. There's all kinds of things to do on this, so we'll see what happens next. Anyways, if you enjoyed, like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.